After flying from Toronto to New York City, we arrived at JK Airport and then took a taxi towards our hotel. It was quite a drive because traffic jams, and it was pretty hot at the time.
66 degrees overnight tonight, and tomorrow 76 degrees another day.
But we arrived in sunny New York in September, so it was a great way to start our stay there. We drove through Chinatown, so that's my first impression of the big city. And also my first time here in a yellow cab. So it was like the real New York experience like you see in the movies, but of course you're really there, so it feels different. When we arrived at the hotel, we checked in. It took a while because there was a line, but when we entered the room, it was very small, and I was just sort of confused that this was the accessible room. But yeah, that's the one. So we checked out the bathroom, and it did have all the handles and the shower chair. So it was quite narrow, like tight. And I'm in a small wheelchair, so if someone is using a bigger wheelchair, it would not fit. But I was just happy that it had all the features that I... Yeah, it's a little tight. It's not big. It's pretty tight. So we stayed at the New York MOXY downtown, and I booked this one in advance, and I also called them to make this booking because you never know if you're gonna get the correct room that I really need. And then after just putting down our suitcases and everything, we went to find some dinner. So we just walked a few blocks and then ended up very close to the hotel for some Thai food. We were very hungry and then just did like a little more walking, rolling. And I still have my baggage tag on my wheelchair here, so quite embarrassing. Like my name is on it and everything, but okay. Forgot to take it off. So, of course, a big important part of my stay somewhere, like traveling to any country, is the accessibility. And because it's a modern city, it's a big city, I do feel like it is accessible. Like the sidewalks for that part were okay, but there's so many people, and it really depends on where you are, of course. So we were downtown, that's like the financial district. So that is like new and well organized, but I can imagine that someplace else in the city, the accessibility is like way less, like not that great. So I also noticed that like the subways are not great. Like I couldn't find an elevator, or I was kind of scared to even try, so I didn't. And we were so close to a lot of things, so we just wanted to play it safe and take a taxi if we needed to go somewhere, and just did a lot by foot. The next day we went to the Brooklyn Bridge. That was also not that far from our stay, so that was quite convenient, and it was cool. We had a lovely sunny day, so it felt like just like one of the last days of summer, and we were so lucky that we could just be there. And together, of course, with a bunch of other tourists, so it's quite busy on the bridge. And so if you wanted to take a photo without people in it, it's like you have to wait, and it's a matter of timing. But we went like halfway and then went back, because the bridge goes to Brooklyn, to the other side, towards Dumbo. Could also be a nice walk, but I felt like the pavement there, like the wooden floor, was not comfortable. It was like, I felt like very bumpy, like the whole time. It was not comfortable to roll on, so I was kind of tired of it, and I wanted to go back. Checked out the Oculus again. There's like a big new shopping mall there, and there's a subway station, and that's near the World Trade Center memorial. It was quite big. I couldn't imagine like how the damage was after those buildings collapsed. We didn't went to the museum, because you can go visit the museum there as well, but there were so many other places that I wanted to see. So we went to the harbor area, and there were more shopping malls and sort of areas, also business centers, and all these buildings. Some are connected, and I don't know, it feels like a totally different world than I'm used to. And from there we went just, keep strolling around. And then at some point we ended up at the Wall Street, and then we saw the bull and a crazy line, and I didn't want to touch the bull. Nope, that's not for me. So we just skipped that, and then went back to the hotel for a little break. So days in New York can be quite exhausting because there's so many impressions, and if you're not used to it, it's quite a lot. And also just being outside like most of the time and rolling around, it's also very like being that active. It's like I only do that on holidays usually. So I really like it. It also gives me energy, but it's also quite tiring. So at some point my shoulders were sore, my hands were like burning, and yeah, I guess that's part of it. We went to the World Observatory, so it's like a 360 view of the city, and you have multiple of these great ways to just see the views. So many buildings have this, so there are quite a few in the city, but this one was closest to our hotel, so we just decided to get that one. And it's quite new, so there's like a lot, sort of a show with explanations, and then you get into an elevator with groups of people, and you see these transitions of the history of the environment. And then you arrive on top. And we just went like right before sunset, so that we could have the incredible view. And we waited till the sun went down. I made this little time lapse. And then that was like my first impression of the Big Apple. Stay tuned, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll show you more in my next video.